Hey guys, Pax Guide here, and it's time for some Pokemon Fusions. I'm going to be using the original 151. I don't know if this is going to be serious or not, but we'll see. Let's get into it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't believe it's finally happened. sorry. Excuse me. I'm filled with joy that someone might actually be listening or reading my logs for once. It's Junior Professor Ruby Rose. Okay, so it's more like assistant to works in Professor Oak's lab. Anyways, getting back to this log report. A few months ago, a mysterious island showed up off the coast of Kanto. I requested to take on the task of researching this mysterious island, watching Pokemon that might inhabit it. Given the power levels we received from just a few passbys of the mysterious island, we concluded that it might hold habitat for legendary or mythical Pokemon. After much debate, rather more like a bunch of begging on my part, I was chosen to lead a small team of other professor assistants, including Brendan from Hoenn, Lyra from Johto, and Lucas from Sinnoh, and Lily from Alola, who had been helping us out in our Kanto labs, joined us. Surprisingly, Max and Archie both offered to security support for us since not a single one of the champions could be reached for some reason at the time we started this journey. We landed on the shore of the mysterious island to find Jupiter from Team Galactic already there setting up a camp for us and offering help in surveying the island. Apparently, she's got some background in doing this from her past. Well, I guess it would be her family has some history doing this. Anyway, a few weeks later, some members from the Pokemon Stamp team showed up, offering to help us in surveying by taking photographs of the island. Sorry, it has been a long journey. See, at first we didn't encounter any wild Pokemon, so we feared the worst, that this island was some sort of weird random plot device from some new evil team trying to take over the world once again. Lily suggested Rainbow Rocket, but as far as and she also suggested it being from Ultra Warm Space. Like I said, it's been a long few months. But then it happened. Emerging from the forest, not far inland from the shore. It was a strange creature, thought to be some kind of fusion of a Ponyta and Hitmonlee, followed by another horse Pokemon. Was this its partner? A parent? Its evolution? It appeared to just randomly take off for a short burst in the sky with two wings. A fusion of a Dragonite and a Rapidash? I slowly crept closer to the two horses, but then a sound caught my attention. It seemed to be stuck in slow motion as my head turned towards this new noise. I was about to gasp in shock of this new fused Pokemon. Luckily, Lucas had followed me and stopped me by placing his hand over my mouth before I disturbed the third Pokemon. It seemed like it might be more aggressive than the other two, given that it was a fusion of a Beedrill and a Charmeleon. But was it a bug type or a poison type? Or did it still have its fire type? What caused the fusion process of these Pokemon? We watched as these three Pokemon went around as if they were comfortable being around us. It just seemed weird. Were these fusions man-made? Did they occur naturally on this? Was this from an ultra wormhole that just randomly appeared? We continued to watch these Pokemon, still not knowing what to call them. The Charmeleon, Beedrill fusion, Beemeleon, Chartrill, Charby? I like Charby. Maybe I'll go with that one for it. Anyway, we'll come up with a better name when we further our research, creating the Fused Pokedex. The Fused Dex? Fused Dex, I like that one. Ruby Rose, you are going to outdo yourself with this one this time. Anyway, we watched as it roared out at seemingly nothing. as the stinger upon its tip and tail became infused with what seemed to be golden flames. It was intriguing. Maybe it did keep his fire type. Was it still bug type or was it poison type? We didn't know. As it spewed out a gold liquid from its mouth, both Lucas and I dug down even further. Then it seemed to spot the two of us, or maybe it was spotting Blair and Brendan, who had joined us by now, as it rushed back into the forest. I hesitantly reached out for the puddle of the golden liquid that landed next to us. Lucas warned me against touching it, but it was too late. I already touched it. It was sticky and reminded me of something from back home. The honey that we use from the comb beans, but not exactly like the comb bee honey. I hesitantly again reached out my tongue and tasted it. It was honey. The charbee had spewed out honey from its mouth instead of flames. The four of us looked up at a rustling sound in the trees. Maybe this was what that charbee had been calling. I held my breath, waiting. What was it going to be? Was it the baby of the charbee? Was it a Charmander or Weedle? A Kakuna? Charmeleon? I don't know. I was so confused of what these things were. I mean, we've heard of Pokemon Fusions, but they were more of kind of silly drawings from kids. Could the shinies be alternate versions of these things? I mean, shiny Pokemon have been showing up for ages in Kanto since they kind of reached over from Johto. I'm not exactly sure. I think Team Rocket had something to do with it. Red's always silent and Blue says, whatever. And tells me to get out of his gym if I'm not going to beat him. Anyway, we finally saw what was coming down. It was a blue Kakuna. What kind of Pokemon would make a blue Kakuna? What was it made of? I saw Brendan reaching for one of his Pokemons, but Nero placed her hand out in front of his chest, stopping him from calling forth the Pokemon. And as the Kakuna spread out a set of wings, it was a Zubat fused with a Kakuna. Who would have thought of that? Maybe this was natural occurrence. And we all kind of shrugged at each other as Lucas moved forward. As the cuckoo bat, maybe that's what I'm calling it, clumsily fluttered down to the honey that was spewed out by the charbee. We looked at his amazement as Lucas inched forward even further towards the cuckoo bat, placing a hand into his backpack. I watched, holding my breath, as he pulled out a quick ball, expanding it to full size. Was this going to work? Could these fusion Pokemon here be captured by regular Pokemon? It shook once. It shook twice. It shook 3 times. Yes! That familiar sound of catching it. And we had our first fusion Pokemon of our own. And there we go. There's our first story of my Kanto Fusions. Fox, catch you later.